Hello to all of my BPTV fans, YouTube fans, Facebook fans. I'm Alan Levine, the Talking Machine. I'm honored to be doing my 59th Talking Machine show. I have another great guest. Will you please introduce yourself?
Absolutely. My name's Andy Amrine. I'm just thrilled to death to be here talking to you, Al. 59 shows. Is that what all these notches are on the desk?
No, they're on this side.
One
they're on
per
this
show.
side because I don't want it on the camera.
Okay.
But as you can tell, Andy's one of my best friends.
Thank you.
And I won't call him by his nickname, but he's well respected in the area, and we like having fun together. So I'm going to try to find out some secret, good information about him with this interview.
Ooh, that's a challenge.
Yes, I'm not asking how old you are because I don't ask anybody
21.
that. Where were you born at?
I was born in Bethel Park. I'm 63 years old. I have been in Bethel Park my entire life, and I have the privilege, honor of saying when I was born in Bethel Park, I was born in the basement of my parents' house on King School Road. So Mom never made it to St. Clair Hospital.
Wow.
So I can truthfully say I
were
was born in Bethel Park. See, the dilemma is I'm one of 10 children.
Understand.
I'm
I've heard that.
I'm number
yes.
7, and I'm very impatient, and I'm never late. So I was 2 weeks early. So to this day,
You stay that way.
to this day, my mom, bless her, she's 95 years old, and she still reminds me that I ruined a good set of sheets that morning.
To this day,
To
tell
this
us
day,
how
she was
old
doing
your
the
mother
laundry.
is.
She's 95.
And she's going to
95.
watch the show. She'll be a new fan.
Yeah,
And tell her you said hi.
yeah,
So
that
we're
I
good.
will, absolutely.
All
As
right.
long as it's not join a Steeler game. I'm not allowed to talk to her join Steeler games.
Being a sports guy, I respect that. And if she's alone throwing bricks like
She
you
throws
told me
bricks.
at lunch,
Yep, sponge bricks.
and I just have to announce this is my 59th show, but it's the
Okay.
first time any guest, friend or foe, has bought me lunch at Ma and Pa Country Kitchen.
It's a great place. My favorite restaurant in Bethel Park.
I am full, and go visit them. It's just great food.
Good people.
And Andy bought, so thank you again, Andy.
My
officially.
pleasure. This way I knew you would be nice to me on the show and
Well-
not ask me any gotcha questions.
No, all my sarcasm. Get down there. Get down. It's down. So we'll be straight up. What school did you go to?
Guess what? I went to Bethel Park. I
Understand.
started at St. Joan of Arc.
Okay, well, I
went
wondered.
I went to first 3 years. I went to St. Joan of Arc until Dad had a falling out with the pastor that year,
Ooh.
so he pulled the family out. And then we went to 4th grade. I went to Lincoln Elementary School. 5th grade was William Penn.
Whoa.
And then 6, 7, and 8, I was at Neil Armstrong, and I was the first class to go through 3 years of school at Neil Armstrong.
That is
At that
what
time, it
a
was
compliment
middle
for
school.
a Bethel Park-born student.
Yeah, and then from there on to the high school.
That is great. And it was a campus-like setup.
It was before the new school. So
What
it
did
was
you think
campus-like.
about that?
I love the new school. I love new, improved ways of educating our children.
Sure.
So was it sad to see my campus school go? Yeah. Did I watch them take the smokestack down? Sure. Do I have a couple of the red bricks from the smokestack?
No,
Absolutely.
You are the best.
But, was it time? Absolutely. If you just think of security of 7 buildings and 700 windows and
Well,
doors and
look
so
at
forth,
heating and
it's-
cooling.
so it was time. It outlived its life as a campus school. But, do I enjoy my days of going to school at Bethel Park High School? Absolutely. It made
Sure.
made it very easy to sneak off campus. It's a little harder now to do that. So
Those were the days,
yeah,
my
I mean,
friends.
so for me, my senior year of high school, I loved work so much, I decided to just go check into homeroom and walk to work every day my senior year till Mr. Andreyko, the high school principal, caught up with me one day and said, you've missed 10 weeks of school. That was an issue. But
10
I love
weeks.
work. I love work. So I was banned from work.
The rest of the
and
year.
no, Mr. Evie only made me miss work for about 2 months.
Okay.
And then his detention, Mr. Andreyko had me replumb the chemistry lab. So that was my penance. So, which wasn't really penance,
You
if
knew
you know
it.
who I am.
Yeah.
But
Well, he's a legendary Handy Andy
That's it. Thank you.
on KDKA.
27 years on KDKA.
I was going to get into it, but
Yeah.
we did a little segue right now.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming you didn't go to college.
I did not. I
Neither did I, so lay it on me.
Well, I never went to college. Like I said, I didn't even, well, I finished high school, of course, but
Barely.
Barely. But Mr. Evie always told me, the predecessor who I bought the business from, I started working at the hardware store when I was 13 years old in
Wow.
1973. I became his general manager the year I graduated high school in 1978.
What an accomplishment.
And I became his partner in the early 80s. And one time Mr. Evie and I were talking about college and education. He goes, you know, Andy, I paid for your college, your education. And I'm like, okay, I
What degree
don't
did I get?
understand. Did I miss something? Did I sleep through that class too? He goes, well, with the mistakes you made here, and I let you make them, you know, it cost me the same as a college tuition. I said, okay, that's a backhanded compliment, I think. He
With logic like that, it was.
He goes, well, think of it. If I stopped you from making all your mistakes, you would never learn. Once you made them on your own and you saw what the consequences were for those mistakes, you'll never make them again. And he's right.
What a
So
smart
I
man and a
learned-
mentor. He mentored you.
He was like another father to me. I was lucky to have three fathers. My dad, my wife's dad, Pat Moore.
Whoa.
Miss him dearly, and then Mr. Evie. So I was fortunate to have three fathers.
You are blessed.
I am.
Those
Every
are great
day.
stories.
Yeah.
So we'll segue right to Evie.
Evie's, okay. Oh, we missed the KDK part?
Well, did that come
I
before?
moved on. No. Well, you were asking about KDK.
Yeah,
so the
yeah.
radio.
Well, I was trying to go back because it
Okay.
was an early segue.
Okay. Well, I'll just tell you how all that happened, and then
Thanks
we'll
for
talk
taking
about the
control.
hardware store.
He's
Absolutely.
a fellow
I'm sorry.
producer
I'm
and
sorry.
host of his
Okay.
shows.
It's your show. It's your show.
No,
I'll
carry
shut
on.
up. What
No,
do you- okay.
I gave him permission to talk more than the talking machine. So far, you're beating
I'm
me
winning.
3-1.
I'm winning. I have the
Yes.
scoreboard in front of me, but I was doing home shows. I
Okay.
get asked to do speaking engagements all over the city, and I have forever, a long time.
Sure.
I love talking. So,
I noticed that.
Yeah, but
That's why we're friends.
So I was talking at the Monroeville Home Show when they had big home shows in Monroeville, and while I was there, there was a young lady by the name of Jane Nugent, and she had her own talk show on WTAE.
Oh, wow.
Before it was bought by ESPN, she was a garden guru. So she said, I love listening to you talking about your passion, the home improvement, fixing machines and
Right.
garden tools. Would you do a show with me? So I started doing shows with her. And the year after that, well, it was on WTAE,
I was gonna ask.
WPIT, and WPTT. So
Oh.
I actually did 3 years on those
Stations,
networks.
yeah.
And we were doing a show with WTAE at the Monroeville Home Show, and a young man sat down in front of me, and suit and tie, very well dressed. And you know, for me to watch people talk on a radio show, it's, I don't know, is it like watching paint dry? But they love the
Similar.
conversation.
Yeah.
So and afterwards, he came up and he goes, "You really handle yourself very well. This was a 2-hour talk show, and you never
didn't miss a
and
beat."
You never shut up." I says, "Well, thank you. I enjoy what I do." He says, "Well, I do I'm with a little company called CBS." I said, "Oh, CBS." He goes, "Yeah, Westinghouse Broadcasting at the time.
Sure.
And I'm out of New York, and I'd love you to do a show on our local station. You may have heard of it. It is called KDKA." I'm like, yeah, I'm
Once
from
in a while.
Pittsburgh. I think it's crossed my lips a few times." He goes, "Well, I'd love you to have your own home improvement show on KDKA." I said, "Great, that'd be fine." He goes,
That's a
you know,
mind blower.
He goes, you know, "I have an open spot on Saturdays at 11 o'clock." I'm like, 11 o'clock, that's a little tough. I can only do 10 o'clock. He goes,
Yeah.
"What do you mean?" I says, "Well, I can do 10 o'clock. He goes, "Well, I don't have a show, a spot to give you." And so I handed him my card and said, "Call me when you do." And he goes, "You're going to walk away from your own show because it's not at 10? I said, "I have a regimented Saturdays. This is what I can offer you." And he didn't know what to say, I guess, and he
stunned him.
left. So the next day he shows up at my hardware store and said, "Okay, you start this week." So he said, we had a AAA travel show at 10. I moved him to 11 to put you in at 10. And so now you
I
have
made
a
it
show.
work.
And so it's 27 years later and millions of listeners.
Yeah.
We cover 27 states, and we generally have about 1 million listeners every single Saturday. So it's fun.
Wow, that is
Okay,
amazing.
I'm done. What's next? Deep breath.
Took my breath away, and I heard about you many years ago.
Thank
I had
you.
a sister and brother-in-law lived on Park Avenue,
Okay.
and they'd always say, I'm going to EV Hardware because they got everything.
Yeah.
So my own brother-in-law, Gary, and my sister, Hope, were fans of yours.
Nice.
So I moved to Bethel in 1983, 2
Okay.
years after I got married, and they moved here in the late 80s.
Mm-hmm.
So I started going to EV all the time, never met you, never saw you, until I became a producer and host of the
Yeah, we
shows.
bumped into each other here at the studio.
Yes, that's how I met you, but I heard your name all the time in EV Hardware,
That's
and
humbling.
I spent my money here.
Yeah, that's humbling. Thank you.
And no, and I appreciate from little things. I just was there last week and saw you again. Needed 2 keys. We were down to 1 key left for one of our doors, so we
It's
needed
amazing
2.
how many keys you lose,
How
isn't
do,
it?
Andy,
How do you lose
how do they
these keys?
disappear? Do you come in the
Yes,
house
yes.
at night?
We make about 4,000 keys a week.
I was going to ask.
It's amazing. Absolutely amazing to me how many keys we make.
Yeah.
That's a lot of keys. But
And guess what? We took them home and they worked.
have you lost them yet?
No.
Okay.
We put them, I have one in my wallet, and my son goes, I'm going to put mine in the wallet too.
That's a good thought.
So that way, if we lose the wallet, which is rare,
Yeah.
we got the key. But no, that's such an interesting story.
Yeah, the hardware store has been there since 1953, November of 53. So
Coming up on an
this
anniversary.
year we are going to be in business for 70 years. I've been there 50 years.
What a
50
blessing.
years at the hardware store. Absolutely love it still every day. But the hardware store's been there. And when I started there in 73, we had 8 employees.
Yeah.
We had 4 full-time employees and 4 part-time employees.
Sure.
And 70 years later, we currently have 35 employees.
Wow.
And still doing very, very, very well. And Al, once again, I can honestly say I am blessed. This community supports small businesses.
Yes.
I mean, we're the second oldest. Brookside Lumber has been there over 100 years.
Yeah, I've heard
I
that.
think they're like 120 years or
Yeah.
so. And then there's, baby businesses in Bethel. I say like Bethel Bakery. They've only been there 65 years.
Yeah, them
You know,
young.
they're nothing like it. But then you have Kiefer, Colin Supply, and
Sure.
South Hills Movers. We're some of the older businesses, but we've been there 70 years, and this community still supports us every single day. It's an average day for us is 400 people walking in the store. And
Really?
It's very nice
What a
store
blessing
traffic
that is.
for where we are. And we started in 1953. Mr. Evie started where Bethel Bakery is right now.
No way.
That was its first location. Was there for just shy of 2 years.
Yeah.
Then it moved to the Logan Road 88 intersection. But at that time, the building was just being built. Then there was Meisner's Pharmacy
Okay.
and EV Hardware, which turned into Paul's Pizza, which turned into Monticello's, and
Yeah.
it progressed on through the years. But
Right.
that's as the building that the hardware store is in was being built. And then after that, a year later, it moved from the lower building up into the hardware store.
Oh, that
and
is
then next door
interesting.
was Dugan Cleaners and Pete's Barber Shop and
Yeah,
some
yeah.
real old time businesses, but 70 years. 70 years. It's a
Wow.
long time. And thank you, Bethel Park, for supporting us
Sure.
all that time.
Give
And
them
we're
the
not going
address,
anywhere.
because anybody that doesn't know, just throw
Yeah.
that address out.
It's 5779 Library Road, which is right at the intersection of Logan 88. It's 1 mile from South Park Shops, the big
Yes.
5-way intersection. And we're not going anywhere. We're going to have a big party on November 18th. So
Make
if you're
sure
around,
you
stop
go.
by for Sid West Comfort Catering food and
Sid West
Bethel
is the
Bakery
best.
cupcakes.
They're the best.
They are. They are.
No, we support them all the time. Sid's Food. Make sure
Yummy.
you get her carrots. Get her
Eat healthy, eat
legendary
carrots. That's it.
Be healthy and eat the other stuff too. It's
Yeah.
delicious. At Bethel
Absolutely.
Bounty, we'll segue into that. With Bethel Bounty coming up, I wanted to do a little promo.
Absolutely.
We owe it all to Andy Amrine with
This'll
Bethel
be-
Bounty.
Bethel Bounty, it's on November 12th at the Crown Plaza.
That's a Sunday.
Sunday from 5 to 8. 300 tickets are sold. Bethel Bounty started as a fundraiser for the Bethel Park Community Foundation, and this will be our 23rd year for Bethel Bounty. Started at the food court of South Hills Village. Then it went to
Really? I didn't know that.
Then it went to St. Valentine's Frawley Hall for a year.
Oh, yeah.
Then at that point, the community center was built. So we were first year the community center opened. We held
Sure.
it there till we outgrew even the community center, and now the last
Right.
what is it, probably 5 years or
Crown
6
Plaza.
years we've been at Crown Plaza up at South Hills Village. So it's a great event for an amazing organization, the Bethel Park Community Foundation, which it's somewhere around 26 years now, and
Yeah.
we've given away
I'm
over
a trustee on the board,
Yep.
thanks to
Yep.
Andy. He nominated
we've given
me.
away over $1 million,
Yes.
and we keep growing. So
Right.
Once again, thank you, Bethel Park, for everything
it
you
may-
do for each other.
It may be late for some of you to get in, but where do they go to try to get tickets?
There is a few tickets left at EV Hardware. The online ticket sales are gone, but we still have 12 to 15 tickets
All
left
right,
down at
get
EV
your
Hardware.
keys and your Bethel Bounty tickets at Evie today.
Today, or you'll be too late.
Yes, so please do that. And I know we got a lot of fans in Bethel and the
We do.
surrounding area, so we appreciate all of you. And all right, we'll go back to Evie
Okay.
and how you expanded the business, because I know to go
it's
from
different.
8 employees to 35,
Yeah.
that there's a lot of different subjects.
Well, when I started, it was your typical mom and pop neighborhood hardware store.
Right.
And from there, when I took over as manager and started running it, I'm very outgoing.
I
And
noticed.
I like to be in the community, but also I like to look down the road. So I like to have a 3-year, 5-year, 10-year, 20-year plans.
Right.
And at
You're
that,
looking to learn and get better.
learn and
all the
get better
time.
and grow in your community and everything else. So at that point, that's when when I took over in the early 80s, that's when your first, I'll call them box stores, came into existence. And
Good
at that
point.
time, it was called Heckinger's
Yes.
and Builder Square.
I was going to say
which are
Builder
long gone.
Square. Working at the newspaper, we got all the advertisements in the comics, and that's what we
Which
had
were
going
which?
on.
The advertising or the comics?
Both.
Okay.
Comics was the cover. The advertisements go inside.
There you
and
go.
we did it by machines and sometimes by hand.
Long time ago, and
that's when papers were popular.
Well, growing up, I delivered the
Here we go.
Post Gazette in the morning.
So did I.
And then I would go to school. I'd come home from school, and I'd deliver the press.
You
so
are
those
what
were my
we would
first two jobs, careers.
Well, you got that without asking a question. We called kids like you go-getters.
Yeah. I enjoy, and every dollar I made went into shoe boxes underneath my bed. And then I got tired with being one of 10 kids. My brothers would borrow money from my shoe
sure.
boxes because I was very thrifty. I didn't like.
You didn't spend money.
I didn't spend money on anything. So then I started putting mouse traps inside the shoe boxes.
Nice.
And then
You caught a few.
And then I caught a few. I would see the trap spun, but it didn't deter them. So then I would duct tape the boxes. And then after I collected, I want to say it was about 5 shoe boxes, my mom said, "You have to do something with these." I says, "Why?" She goes, "You got to go get a bank account." I'm like, "Why?" And she says, "Because." So, that's when I went to a small neighborhood bank called Southview Savings and Loan, which is no longer in existence, and got my first savings account and checking account.
And then you got your Social Security then,
I
too.
got Social Security
We had
cards.
a story
and-
about that.
Well, yeah, I mean, back when I started in '73, what did you need a Social Security number for? We were paid in cash.
Exactly.
You know,
It was a whole different
it was a
monetary
different world.
system.
Yes, it was. In some ways, I guess we missed those systems, but
Let me second that emotion. Yes, 100%.
but yeah,
Because I had a
it is
paper
what it
route
is.
too. And
Yeah, I love the paper route. From the
Yeah.
paper route, I got to know all the neighbors, and I had 100 customers. So from there, I would rake leaves and
Sure.
fix my
How about
first handyman
snow
jobs,
shoveling?
shovel snow, cut grass, and then I'd get into painting houses and cleaning bricks. And then my dad was my first teacher and taught me how to put in water heaters and build chimneys. And
Wow, my dad wasn't
everything else.
handy. I
So
never
then we
learned
would
that
pour
stuff.
concrete, and so I had built-in customers all around the neighborhood that if something broke, just they'd leave me notes on their door, because that's when we delivered newspapers to the door.
We either threw them or put them in the
no,
door.
I put them in the door.
I had customers that told me to throw them.
Yeah, see, I wouldn't do
Post-Gazette in the
that.
morning, so they knew I had a good arm. I was a pitcher, so I'd get it right up on the door. Some would go, "Can you hit my back porch?" I'd hit the
Right
back
there?
porch right there.
Right there.
So they go,
Yeah,
"Alan,
they-
you can keep throwing them." I had 120 customers. I
Yeah,
built
they
it
were there. Good.
from 60. And yeah, it was. I have great memories. I was a shy kid, but I learned I had to talk to collect money.
Well, yeah, and then the more you talk, the more you got nicer tips too.
Like
But
at Christmas time,
yeah, I love Christmas.
the tips I got
I'd fill
were,
a whole shoebox just with Christmas time. I love the winter because I had a big toboggan, and I'd put the sides on the toboggan. I'd pull the newspapers through all the neighborhood, and my last house was at the top of King School Hill.
Yes.
And that was a Red Dog Road back then.
Oh.
There was never any traffic, so
You go
it took
down
me
it.
a minute to go shoot all the way down King School. I miss some of those days.
Yes.
There was all the free food and hot chocolate on the Sunday mornings and everything else. Great customers. Some of them I still see today
yeah.
that I delivered newspapers to. So fun times.
So many great memories, and I would go back years later after I got married in 1981, and I'd see some of them. They go, "Hey, Alan, how are you?" And it was just great memories and great people. Then I'd meet their kids and grandkids.
Wow.
And even today, like about a month ago, I met somebody when I said I lived at 123 Park Edge Road. I never called it 123. I just thought it was funny to go 123. And I tell this guy that, and his name was Alan up in Beachview, and he goes, "Do you know somebody that lived up near the top of the street of Park Edge?" And that's where Sheldon connects, not to get too geekish. And I said, "Yeah, I know them. They were on my paper route." And here he's the grandson.
Nice. Now the real question, how many of the daughters of your customers did you go out on dates with?
Whoa, that is private for another day.
Did I do that? Memories, Al, memories.
Yeah, it was so great.
It was a lot of fun growing up.
There
in
were
those
some
times.
nice bus trips to Keystone Oaks. I'll
Okay.
just say that. And sometimes you had to sit with one of the pretty girls.
You had to. You had to.
It just
Sacrifices
worked
we
out
made.
that way. No, we're getting around here. So now
Yes,
I
sir.
know you do a lot of things in the city, and I wanted to
do.
briefly touch that because you've been expanding your
Yeah,
business.
going back to that, yes, we expanded to commercial, industrial sales, a lot of hotels, the sports teams,
Yes.
a lot of hospitals, all the commercial buildings in town.
So
the
you saw
business
opportunity
managements,
every
yeah.
day and every year.
Every day, and then from there, commercial sales turned into a lot of industrial sales from the gas
Really?
well industry, which is still a very good business to us.
Yes.
And then a huge rental company. We saw the need for rental for homeowners and contractors. So we now have millions in equipment, 21 skid steers and
Really?
excavators, and so the whole line from
So if you want
plumbing, electrical to
if you want to
tools
fix
to-
up a yard or house, you can handle it.
Absolutely.
If you have
Anything and
buildings,
everything.
you can handle whatever a building needs.
Yep.
And you've talked about lighting and windows and doors and everything over the years with me.
Yeah, no, the whole bit. We do a lot with new construction with contractors that build
really?
houses.
That is, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
That's
so
great.
and we actually deal with a lot of the government agencies, from the federal government to state government to municipalities, the county.
Sure.
It's a thriving business that I'm very, very happy to have helped it and watched it and be part of having it grow from a small neighborhood store to the
Well,
empire that it is today.
I'll share this because I always thought at work you leave a legacy. You built a great legacy. And what's going to happen with the future with Evie?
I'm sure there'll be a time where my wife been married 39 years and 3 kids, and
Congratulations.
there's,
You want to say
there's-
hi to your wife and
hello,
kids?
Mary Alice and Jamie and Catherine and Robbie.
Okay.
Yeah,
We got to cover that. It's a family-friendly show.
It is, and I'm sure there'll be a time where Mary says enough is enough, because I'm semi-retired now. I went from 100 hours a week to 80 hours a week.
Oh, way to decrease that.
I know, so it's easy now, but at
That's
some
double what the average person works.
well, so at some point she'll want me to cut back even a little bit more,
Sure.
and there'll be a future. The hardware store's not going anywhere.
Understand. Well, make sure you hit Evie there. Now, we got about 2 minutes to go.
2 minutes.
And I always have great guests.
Where'd all that time go?
It went fast.
You
You
t-
beat
you-
me.
You talked a lot.
No, you beat me 5-1. I've been
Okay.
keeping track. So
I'm proud of that.
the last 2 minutes, you inspire me whether you know it or not. I
Thank you.
appreciate
That's
what
very
you
humbling.
do
Thank you.
and how you operate here and everywhere else I see you and what I hear about you. It's all good. So how would you want to inspire some of my guests that are watching this show,
Okay.
wondering, who is this man?
Well,
What is he doing?
Al, I love to be in a position that I'm able to help my neighbors,
Sure.
to help the community. And I never have to walk down the street and cross the street because I see somebody coming that I have harmed or hurt or embarrassed
Right.
or anything in any way. So I really push myself every day to treat everybody like family and friends. And in doing so, when there is somebody or someone or a family that I find out that is in need of something, I do whatever I can to help that family, that person, or to be part of the community.
Sure.
Like I think I said earlier, that we are very blessed that this community supports me and my business, my family, my employees.
Right.
And so every single day I am so thankful for that from the community
Yeah.
that I do my best to give back, whether it's through the Bethel Park Community Foundation.
Sure.
We started the Bethel Park Education Foundation, being on the Bethel Park Public Library Board, to many other different organizations and charities. So
Sure.
I do everything I can to support the organizations that support the community, which support our Bethel Park families. So if there's anything anyone would take out of anything, it's help your community, be part of your community.
Right.
Don't just hide behind a desk or a rock.
Well,
No.
my theme is to be kind and help others.
You have to.
He personifies this, and he's a modest man. I got him to talk for almost 29 minutes. You want to promote your event on the 18th?
Yeah, 70th anniversary of EV True Value Hardware at 5779 Library Road in Bethel Park, 70 years. So if you need details, go to our Facebook page. You can find us on social media. We have Instagram, the TikToks the staff does is always real fun. Or just call the store at 412-835-5780. And Al, it's been a pleasure. I could sit and talk to you for hours.
We have,
But I
but
know
thank
Nick,
you.
our producer, he's probably back there gagging right now because the two of us are talking so much.
Well,
but
I let you
I'd
run
be lost
past.
without Nick.
I let you run past 29. I let you extend it. Thanks to all of you for watching my shows, your great feedback, and I appreciate all the fans. Stay tuned for our 60th show coming up in 2 weeks.